Do you want to make money online selling AI and automation services? If yes, follow along because in this video, I'm going to tell you the truth about building an AI and automation agency. Hey, my name is Dimitris and I've been a software engineer for over a decade. Right now, I'm running an AI and automation agency, averaging at about 20,000 per month, and I'm also teaching people how they can do the same. So in this video, we're gonna focus on three things. First, we're gonna cover the biggest misconception there is about making money with AI. Then, I'm gonna tell you what's the minimum technical expertise you need to begin selling AI and automation services, and also what you need to focus if you're a complete beginner. And finally, I'm gonna give you a step-by-step guide on how to begin building your agency. So all right, let's begin with the biggest misconception there is right now on YouTube about selling AI and automation services. Because quite frankly, I'm very angry with this. People have been telling you that it's easy, and I think the truth is getting lost in translation. Selling AI services right now, it's not easy. Selling a service is never easy. That's a lie. You cannot make 20,000 per month in just a week after starting by selling chatbots to nail salons. Sorry, I'm sorry to be the one that burst your bubble, but you can't. So it's not easy, but it is simple. And I think this is the biggest misconception. People are confusing simple with easy. Let me give you an example. Running a marathon is a simple process. It's not a complicated process. To run a marathon, all you have to do is you need to put on your shoes, show up in the race, wait patiently until the race begins, then start running, and when you finish, you're done. So as a process, it's simple. There is not complexity, there is not multiple steps, there is no complicated algorithms involved. So the process is simple, but it's not easy. Have you ever tried running a marathon? It's hard. It puts a huge emotional and physical strain to you. So running a marathon is simple, but it's not easy. And it's the exact same thing with running an AI and automation business. Right now, it's simple. And the reason that it's simple is that the value proposition is very easy. And the reason that it's simple is because explaining the value of using AI to businesses at this moment of time is simple. And the reason it's simple is because right now, at this moment of time, with all the hype going on around AI, when you're trying to explain your value proposition to a business, the process is simple. It's much simpler than when you're trying to sell them, for example, Facebook ad services, marketing services, website building, or other type of digital services that people have been selling online for over a decade now. Basically, when you walk into a business, the conversation, it really is simple. So you say, hey, would you like to make more money? The business owner says yes. And then you say, okay, do you know AI? And they're gonna say yes. They're lying. They have no idea what AI is, but they have heard about it and they're already interested about it. And then you're gonna say, okay, I know of a way so that you can make more money with AI. Now, here's the misconception. This process is simple, but they're not gonna say yes right away. So it is hard to understand how you can present yourself, how you can make your case, how you can handle their objections. That part is hard, but you will be at least have a foot in the door. You will at least have a conversation and you have the interest of your clients. And that makes selling AI and automations a simple process, not an easy one. And by the way, this is exactly the problem with what people have been telling you, that you can sell chatbots and go high-level automations for 20,000 a pop in nail salons. When you walk into a small business, even though they might understand the value, they don't care enough about expanding, and usually they're not eager to invest money into a new technology. So if you're going to pick a niche, don't necessarily follow anything that other people are doing online. Focus on local businesses, but my advice is focus on businesses that are owned by experienced businessmen. For example, an accounting firm or a real estate office is going to be run by a businessman. It's going to be run by a person that understands business, and he's going to understand concepts like return of investment, concepts like lifetime value, and they're going to be able to understand things like that. If you go to a nail salon or a barbershop, the person that's running it, it's probably in 1 month. So it's just a person trying to make a living by running a local shop and doing the thing they love. And those people don't necessarily want to expand more. So explaining the concept of maximizing your revenue or scaling your business, explaining this concept to a business that wants to scale, it's good. But explaining this concept to a small local business that never wanted to scale anyway, like, you're not gonna have much luck there. So yeah, this is the most common misconception. Simple versus easy. AI, selling AI and automations is a simple process, not an easy one. Now let's move forward to, so okay, let's say that you understand the first thing. Let's say that, okay, you get it, simple, not easy. All right. Now the next question is, what do I need to learn in order to start selling these services? And that's a great question. I have bad news and I have good news. Good news is, right now, you don't need to be a software engineer. There are so many no-code tools, and even when there is a little bit of coding required, you still have ChatGPT or any other model that can help you write the piece of code that you need. So as a developer with over a decade of experience, I regret saying this, but no, you don't need to be a software engineer anymore to make money with selling AI services. And that's the good news. So you don't need a lot of technical experience, but you do need to make up for it by understanding business concepts. So you have basically two paths. If you're a software engineer, you can make do by showcasing your technical prowess and explaining advanced concepts to people. You may not understand the business case so much, but sooner or later you're going to find a client that's very intrigued with your technical prowess and expertise, and they're going to explain a little bit better what they want. They're going to work for you, and what you lack in business knowledge, you will eventually learn from your first clients. And that way, it's not going to be so much of a problem. But if you don't have that technical expertise, then if you go to businesses, you're just going to sound like some crazy person trying to sell the magic solutions. Because you're going to say, hey, I have a chatbot that will change your life. I'm going to say, all right, how are you going to do that? Well, it's going to send emails automatically. Okay, and why should I do that? And then the only option that you have is to explain in terms that they can understand as a business owner. So since you cannot explain the underlying technology because you have no idea what's going on, you can tell them, hey, look, forget about AI for a second. Let's talk about how much time you're spending following up with your clients. And then they're going to say, okay, I'm sending like 20 follow-up emails per day, right? How much time does that cost you? Okay, it's like 1 or maybe 1.5 hours per day. All right, perfect. So if I create an automation that does this process automatically for you, and all you have to do is review the emails before you go out, now instead of spending 1.5 hours, which is 90 minutes, you can spend just 15 minutes. And that way you save that amount of time. And they get it, so that's good. So when you're a beginner, you either need to be a very good programmer, so you need to be able to understand technical terms, or you need to start learning the basic business concepts that you need in order to explain the service that you're providing better. It's one or the other. So okay, let's say that you are a programmer or you are someone who knows a little bit about business and you can explain these concepts. What do you do next? Well, sooner or later, you're going to have to choose a platform to focus on. And you have two ways to do that. You will either choose a generic platform, a generic automation platform like n8n or Make.com or Zapier or any other less popular platform out there. You can choose one of those platforms and you can learn the basics, learn how to build automations on that platform, and then you're going to go to businesses and then you're going to find their problems and try to build automations that solve these problems. So that's the first path that you can take. However, that's not the only option. Another option you have is you can choose a specific tool and a very, very, very specific, hyper-specific niche and try to sell that to clients. You're going to be limited, but the good news is you can master this tool and you're going to have an easier time selling it as time goes on. For example, you might want to choose to become an expert in voice agents. That's fine. Just choose a platform that has voice agents built in, like 11 Labs or Retail AI. You can be very good at building agents in that platform, and then you're going to go to clients and you're going to basically sell this platform to them. Now, some people say that this is not real AI engineering. But who cares? When people started building websites, they just used plain HTML and CSS. Then WordPress came out and other low code or no code software that built websites, and people started selling those. And then other tools came out and people transitioned there. So it doesn't really matter. A business owner doesn't really care if you're going to use n8n or make.com. If they want a voice agent, all they need to do, or all they care about, if they want a voice agent, all they care about is that it works. So if you want to specialize into selling voice agents, you don't even need to learn n8n and make and all that complicated technology. Just learn how to use ElevenLabs or Retail AI or any other voice agent service out there, and you can do that. So to summarize, you either need to learn how to use a generic automation platform like n8n or make.com or Zapier, or you need to pick a very specific niche and be the best into using one of the tools that exist right now in that niche. All right, so now let's go over exactly what you need to start your AI and automation agency. This is not going to be an in-depth guide. For that, honestly, we would just need over 3 hours of me explaining every single little concept. But I'm going to give you a high-level explanation of exactly what you need to do for the first couple of months when you start selling these services. Now, the first step is learning the basics. So basically, all you need to do is find some resources online, and there are tons of them. You can join a course, you can watch videos on YouTube, you can watch articles, you can even ask ChatGPT, but you need to learn the basics. You need to understand what exactly AI and automation is. You don't need to become an expert, but you need to at least understand what it is that you're selling. So you need to have like a high-level understanding of what it is that you're selling. I'm going to give you the most basic explanation that I can, but do your own research and try to come up with conclusions on your own. So when you're selling AI and automation services, what you're trying to do is you're trying to find processes that businesses have that they're doing manually, and therefore they're spending a lot of time. The problem with doing a process manually is that you're usually spending a lot of time doing this. So if you do a process manually, you're either spend a lot of time, so you're either going to spend a lot of time, or you're not going to be able to scale, so not scale. These are the two problems that businesses are facing with manual processes. And your value proposition is basically, hey guys, if you have this problem or this problem with your manual services, I'm going to help you overcome it. So yay. Anyway, this is the step one, learning the basics. After learning the basics, which by the way is a process that should take 1 day, maybe 2 days. You don't need to become an expert. You just need to understand the basics. And I mean it, maximum 1 or 2 days. So after you learn the basics, and let me note this down, 2 days. So around 2 days. After you do that, you're going to focus on finding leads. Now, as you're finding leads at the same time, you're going to still be getting better at learning automation. So I'm gonna get the technical expertise further down the pipeline. But remember, we're building a business, and even if you're the greatest automation engineer of all time, if you have no clients, you're not going to be making money. So step two, and essentially the first important step that we're taking, is finding leads. And I recommend 3 ways of finding leads, and you're going to have to do all 3 at the same time when you're starting out, because you never know which one's going to get you your first client. And when you begin, you're basically bleeding time and money. So you need to find your first client as soon as possible. As a beginner, you don't really have the luxury of choice. So you're going to have to do all these 3 forms of lead generation at the same time. You need to set up a form of active lead generation and finding warm leads. Warm leads are people or businesses that already know what they want, and they're just looking for someone, for the right person to implement the solution. They already know that they have a problem, and sometimes they even know what the solution is. For example, if I have a business and I know that I'm spending a lot of time responding to the forms on my website and responding to useless queries from users, I know there is a problem. And then if I know that the solution is a chatbot on the website, I also know the solution, which makes the selling process a lot easier because you don't have to explain to them that they have a problem and you don't need to explain what the solution is. You just need to prove that you're the right person for the job. And that's what freelance platforms are for. So you definitely want to sign up for an Upwork account or a Fiverr account, or ideally for both of them, depending on how much money you have to spend. Uh, Upwork has a higher cost. Fiverr is basically a platform where leads come to you, and Upwork is a platform where you're going to have to send proposals to each prospect. And for each proposal, you're going to spend around $2. So if you send 10 proposals per day, that's going to be around $20 per day, and that's going to be 70 per week if you're sending every day 10 proposals per day. So it's going to be 70 per week. If you have no money, Upwork might be a little bit of a problem, but at the same time, it's a very, very popular platform, and I have no doubt in my mind that if you start and you can spend this amount of money and you can invest it, you're going to have your first client within the first month, 100%. However, it's not guaranteed because you might be doing something wrong, you might be sending proposals wrong, and this is the reason that you need to have someone to guide you. And this is also what we're doing in our Skool community. We are helping our students find the correct way to sending proposals, we are reviewing their Upwork profiles, we're reviewing their proposals, and so much more things. So we make sure that if they're spending 70 per week, they are not wasting it. So this is super important. This is why you're probably going to need help if you choose Upwork. Fiverr is a little bit easier, so you don't need to worry so much about that. Fiverr, you're just setting up your profile. You can have someone review it. I can do that, or you can find some other mentor to review your profile. But after you set it up, it's all a matter of promoting your profile, and you're just waiting for leads to send you a message. So Fiverr is a little bit less active, which is why I recommend having both. Moving on, we have cold outreach. Cold outreach is when you're sending messages to businesses that they have never heard of you, and they just one day out of the blue, they receive an email or they receive a LinkedIn message or a cold call. And actually, let me note cold calls down as well. So yeah, it can be cold calling, it can be door to door and all these things. You're reaching out to people in hopes that you can get their attention by a clever message, a clever introduction paragraph on your email, a very short but witty LinkedIn message. You can get that attention from them, and then they're going to give you a chance to explain your service. And if it happens that they are in need of the problem, that they're in need of a solution for the problem that you're trying to solve, then you're in luck. You can get into a sales call with them. The thing with cold outreach is that you can expect around 5 to 10%, as a beginner, I'm saying, a 5 to 10% conversion rate to sales, to a sales call, not to actually sell your product. That means that if you send 100 cold emails, 5 of them or 10 are gonna reply. And from those 10, maybe 1 or 2 will get into a sales call, and best case scenario, you're gonna sell 1 of them. So as a beginner, you need to expect about 0.5% to maybe 1% final conversion rate. That means that if you send 1,000 emails, maybe you're gonna sign you're gonna get on a qualified sales call with 1 person. And if you send 10,000 emails, with 5 to 10 people, and then you're going to have 5 chances to sell your service. So you will need to increase the number of emails you're sending or the number of LinkedIn messages you're sending. And this is why we also need to do this at the same time as Upwork and Fiverr. We don't want to go all in a platform if we don't know what works yet. And finally, you have your own network and social circle. This has proven to be the best way to start. However, you don't want to rely on this because you might screw up and run out of people to reach out on your own social network. So basically, the concept is the following. You have a lot of acquaintances, friends, family, people you worked with or people you worked for. And you need to let them know that you're starting this new service. Be careful, don't sell to them. Just call them, make some human conversation, and let them know, yeah, hey, I'm getting into this new AI and automation thing. I'm helping businesses automate their processes. Do you know of any business that can be benefited from that? So you're basically calling your social circle and you're asking them for referrals. And because they are part of your social circle and because humans are, generally speaking, they're going to want to help you if it costs nothing to them. So if I know of someone that is in need of that service, I'm gonna say to you, and then you can get on a sales call based on a referral, which is so much more powerful than cold outreach. This is amazing. There's two things you need to be very careful for. Number one is that you need to explain very, very simple and very, very quickly what is it that you do. So when you're calling friends or other business owners that you know and you're asking for referrals, you must be as much to the point as possible. So you need to call them and in 1 minute explain what you do. Under 1 minute, like 10 seconds, 20 seconds maximum, explain what you do. So, hey, I'm building voice agents for businesses. So do you know of any business that they have a receptionist and they're missing calls, for example, because the receptionist cannot take all calls at the same time? Or do you know of any business that they are missing a lot of calls because some of their callers call for an appointment when the business is closed? So that narrows down the list of possibilities so much that it's going to be no effort for your friends and other business acquaintances to just give you a referral. So don't overcomplicate things. Don't say, yeah, I'm doing everything. Do that work for them and help them give you a referral. Now that you understand exactly why you need to find leads, let's go to the next and final step, which is consistency. So the first month is the most important because after the first month, something like 87% of people just give up. They give up because it's too hard, too complicated, they don't find their first client and they're disappointed. They do find the first client, but they mess up with delivery and all that. So I'm gonna tell you exactly what you need to do in the first month. And if you follow it to the letter, you're gonna succeed. It's 100%. So for the first month, every single day, no breaks, no days off, just lock in for a month. I want you to send 10 Upwork proposals per day. I also want you to send 5,000 cold emails per week. Let's explain those two for a second because those are the most intense lead generation tasks you've probably ever done in your life. 10 proposals per day on Upwork, that's going to be, so this one's going to be around 2 hours per day, right? So for 2 hours per day, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna send 10 proposals on Upwork. It's actually going to be a little bit less when you start getting better at doing it. At the beginning, you're going to overcomplicate everything and you're gonna send a proposal, but then you're gonna think about it a lot before you press send, and then you're gonna have second thoughts and again and again and again until you're gonna spend 2 hours doing this. When you get better, so around after, I don't know, maybe 7 to 10 days of doing this and sending 10 proposals per day, you're gonna get used to it and you're gonna be faster. So initially, you're gonna need 2 hours per day, but over time, you're gonna need only 1 hour for this 10 proposals. Now, next, you need to send 5,000 cold emails per week. And sending cold emails is basically two things. So to send cold emails, you need to, one, scrape the emails. So you need to find the email addresses. Two, you need an automation to send them. So basically, maybe the first week, set up a scraping infrastructure and an automation infrastructure. Again, I'm not gonna cover this in this video, but I have other videos that I can show you how to do it. I will release other videos in the future, or you can watch videos from other people on YouTube, or you can just join my school community where I personally teach you how to do both of these things, and also this, and also this, and also this. So yeah, you're getting a lot, but if you want to do it on your own, be my guest. This video is free, and so is so many other videos on YouTube. So the information is out there. If you just need information, you think you can do it on your own, just do this. So after you scrape your 5,000 emails, you're gonna need to set up an automation to send it, and you can use a lot of software out there. I recommend Instantly. So you can go to instantly.com. It's this page right here, instantly.ai. You can go to this page. You can also find a link in the description. You can sign up for this, and this is an email automation software. You're filling Instantly with emails, and then you're setting up a campaign, which means that you write down a template to send a templated message to send to all of those emails, and you're also buying email addresses directly from Instantly, and they make this whole setup super easy for you. But I'm not going to cover Instantly in this video. The point is, you need to send 5,000 cold emails per week. I cannot tell you exactly how much time you're going to need, but let's say you also need another hour per day so you're going to need around 7 hours per week on emails, and that's about 1 hour per day. And then you're going to need to reach out to 3 people in your network each week. That's not a problem of time, it's a problem of availability. Think about it. If you have 10 people in your network and you call all of them, 2 things are going to happen. One, you're going to burn through your address book very quickly, and then you're going to have nothing to do. But more importantly, not every single one of them is going to be in a frame of mind to give you the opportunity to pitch your service and ask for referrals. So to reach out to 3 people in your network, I mean reach out to more people, but find 3 people that actually want to hear you. That might mean you need to reach out to 6 people, and half of them will be very busy, or they will dodge your call, or they will not pick up your phone, and the other 3 will pick up and give you the time to explain your service. And these are the 3 lead generation tasks that you need to do for 30 days straight. Don't worry about results, just worry about being consistent. This is so much important, like the most important thing. Now, at the same time that you're doing this, I'm going to change the color here. At the same time that you're doing this, you need to build case studies, and you also need to create proof of concept. I know I told you that you don't need to be an expert, but you need to know some things about automations. Realistically, you're not gonna book your first client in just a week. So you're gonna have a couple of weeks, or maybe even 3 weeks, to learn more about automation. So for another around 2 hours every day, I want you to start learning more and building case studies and creating proof of concept. Here's the mistake that a lot of people do. They start learning about automation like they are back in the university. They go straight to student mode, which is stupid. Don't go straight to student mode. Don't just open your notebook and start writing down your notes and try to be an expert in automations. Just create proof of concepts, and while you're creating those proof of concepts, you're going to learn what you need to learn anyway. For example, if you want to sell voice agents to real estate, well, build a voice agent for an imaginary real estate firm. And as you're building it, you're going to learn more about the technology, so you're going to get better. And at the same time, you're going to have, by the end, you're going to have a proof of concept that you can upload to your social media, and that will build you more proof, and suddenly you have a flywheel. So the process is learning, all right? You have learning, and from learning you go to building, and from building you go to have proof, and then you go back to learning. So this wheel, this flywheel, will load you with tons of proof and tons of confidence. So every time that you're trying to sell to someone, you're gonna get better and better and better and better every single time. So this is gonna be the first month. Now, the second month is a big question mark, because it depends on your results from the first month. If you have a client, then I have no idea. The second month depends on the type of client, the complexity of the problem, how many sales calls you got. So for anyone out there that can tell you what's going to happen on month 2, and let me make this a little bit clearer, month 2. So for anyone out there that's trying to tell you, hey, month 1 is going to be like this and month 2 is going to be like this, it's a lie. You cannot predict right now month 2. It all depends what's going to happen on the first month. If you sign a client, that's good news. You now have data. You now have a client that you can over-deliver for. They can refer you to more clients. You can continue doing what worked. If you don't have a client, that most likely means that you're making some mistakes. So unfortunately, you're going to have to go back to your process and refine each part a little bit. So you're gonna have, and let me change again color, you're gonna have to send better proposals, you're gonna have to send better emails, you're gonna have to reach out to people in a different way, because what you're doing clearly is not working. So basically you're gonna relive month 1, and you're gonna make it, for example, month one, version 2. So you keep reliving the first month until you get a result. For many of my students, they are seeing results within 15 to 20 days. So in many cases, it's within the first month, but that's with guidance. Without guidance, it might take a little longer, but even if it takes 2 months, even if it takes 3 months, is that really a problem? If this is the price to pay for financial freedom, then there is no problem, right? So anyway, this is it. This is all you need to do to start your own agency. Learn the basics, find leads, and then be super consistent for a month. If you cannot stay consistent for a month on the thing that you're trying to build, on the business that you're trying to build, then from the bottom of my heart, you don't deserve it. Which brings me to the final point of the video, which is also conveniently the first point of the video. This process is simple. If I can explain something using a drawing board and speaking on camera for 10 minutes, if I can explain something this way, it's not a complex concept. So the process is simple, but all that, it's not easy. It's a soul-crushing, character-defining process that will change the course of your life if you do it correctly, but it can also bring you down if you do it incorrectly. So manage your expectations, focus on your objective, and for the love of God, stay consistent for a month and you won't regret it. So thank you for watching. I hope this video had some information that might prove valuable to you. If you liked it, click a like, drop a comment, subscribe, and all the usual. And also, if you like guidance and you feel that all this is too overwhelming, I am running a school community. We're helping people start their own AI agencies and scale it to 5 to 10K per month. So it's enough to begin. We're not gonna make you a millionaire, but we can give you exactly step-by-step guide to begin. So link is in the description, join the school community, and I will see you inside.